60 years have passed since Hogan's Heroes introduced audiences to its unique blend of comedy and wartime intrigue. The show, set in a German POW camp during World War II, became a classic, remembered for its clever plots and colorful characters. But what happened to the talented cast who brought Colonel Hogan, Sergeant Schultz, and the rest of the crew to life? In 2025, we take a look back at their lives and careers, exploring the paths they took after the show ended. Did they continue in show business, or did they forge new paths? Discover where the stars of Hogan's Heroes are now, 6 decades later. Bob Crane began his role as Colonel Hogan in 1965 at the age of 37, embodying the quick-witted, charismatic leader of the POWs. Hogan's clever strategies and charm made him the heart of the series and cemented Crane's status as a beloved TV star. However, his career faltered after the show, as he became typecast and struggled to secure meaningful roles. Crane's personal life was equally turbulent. His first marriage to Terzian ended in divorce after 21 years, leaving him distant from their 3 children, Robert, Deborah, and Karen. His second marriage to Patricia Olson, who played Hilda on the show, was riddled with infidelity and tension. Crane developed a dark obsession with photography and recorded explicit encounters, further damaging his reputation. Tragically, on June 29, 1978, Crane was brutally murdered in his Arizona apartment at just 49 years old. The case remains unsolved, casting a shadow over his legacy and leaving his life as a cautionary tale of fame and excess. Robert Clary played the role of Corporal Louis LeBeau on Hogan's Heroes starting in 1965 at the age of 39. LeBeau, a French POW with a remarkable talent for cooking and charming his way out of tricky situations, brought a sense of levity and optimism to the series. In real life, Clary's story was far darker. A Holocaust survivor, he lost most of his family in Nazi concentration camps, a trauma that shaped his view of the world. His career saw a peak with Hogan's Heroes, but he struggled afterward with typecasting, which limited his opportunities. He married Natalie Cantor, the daughter of comedian Eddie Cantor, but they were unable to have children, a deep sorrow for Clary. Later in life, he became an advocate for Holocaust education and used his platform to speak about the horrors he had witnessed. Despite these successes, he was haunted by his past, and in his final years, Clary faced depression and isolation. He passed away on November 16, 2022, at the age of 96. Werner Klemperer took on the role of Colonel Klink in 1965 at the age of 45, portraying the inept yet endearing commandant of Stalag 13. Klemperer's comedic timing brought depth to the role, turning Klink into a memorable figure despite his flaws. Born to a Jewish family in Germany, Klemperer fled the Nazis with his family, and his choice to play a German officer was an act of defiance against the regime. While professionally successful, Klemperer's personal life was marked by hardship. Married twice, first to Johanna Geisler and later to actress Louise Troy, both marriages ended in divorce, and he had no children. Health issues and depression plagued his later years, along with feelings of isolation in Hollywood. He passed away on December 6, 2000, from cancer at the age of 80. Despite his success, his life was marked by the lingering pain of his refugee experience and unfulfilled personal dreams. John Banner played Sergeant Schultz starting in 1965 at age 55, winning audiences over with his humor and the catchphrase, "I see nothing. I hear nothing. I know nothing." His character's kind heart and naivety provided a stark contrast to the show's setting, making him a fan favorite. Off-screen, Banner's life was deeply affected by tragedy. Born in Austria, he fled the Holocaust but lost most of his family to Nazi atrocities. This loss haunted him, even as he found success in Hollywood. Married to Christine Gorgon, the couple remained childless, which Banner described as one of his greatest regrets. After Hogan's Heroes, his career waned, as his distinct persona limited opportunities. He died on January 28, 1973, at age 63 from an abdominal hemorrhage, leaving behind a legacy of laughter tinged with the sadness of personal and historical tragedies. Richard Dawson portrayed Corporal Peter Newkirk in Hogan's Heroes starting in 1965 at 33, bringing to life the witty British pouse skilled in forgery and quick thinking. Newkirk's humor and charm made him a fan favorite, but Dawson's real life was filled with both professional success and personal turmoil. After the show, Dawson became the beloved host of Family Feud, further cementing his fame. However, his personal life was fraught with hardship. His first marriage to British actress Diana Dors ended in a bitter divorce in 1967, causing a strain on his relationship with their two sons. His second marriage to Gretchen Johnson, whom he met while hosting Family Feud, lasted until his death, but Dawson's life was overshadowed by a battle with smoking, which led to esophageal cancer. In his final years, he experienced health complications that affected his once vibrant career. Dawson passed away on June 2, 2012, at the age of 79. Howard Caine began playing Major Hochstetter, the obsessive and suspicious Gestapo officer, in Hogan's Heroes in 1966 at the age of 40. Known for his relentless pursuit of Hogan and his men, Caine's portrayal of Hochstetter was both intimidating and humorous. Off-screen, Caine's personal life was marked by loneliness and struggles. His first marriage to actress Mary Ellen McCarthy ended in divorce, followed by a second marriage to actress Barbara Cavan, which also ended in separation. Caine had no children, and his inability to find lasting happiness in his personal life cast a shadow over his career. His health began to decline in the 1990s, and on December 28, 1993, he passed away from a heart attack at the age of 67. Despite a promising career, Caine's life ended with little recognition for his personal struggles, leaving behind a legacy of a great character actor overshadowed by emotional isolation. Larry Hovis joined Hogan's Heroes in 1965 at the age of 29, playing the role of Sergeant Andrew Carter, the inventive and optimistic explosives expert. Carter's energy and creativity were reflected in Hovis's own enthusiasm for acting, but his real-life journey was far from carefree. After Hogan's Heroes, Hovis struggled to find significant acting opportunities and transitioned into writing and producing, roles that left him feeling unfulfilled. His personal life faced difficulties as well, including the dissolution of his marriage to Corden, with whom he had 4 children. Raising his kids alone brought both emotional and financial strain. In his later years, Hovis was diagnosed with esophageal cancer, a disease that severely impacted his health and career. Despite fighting the illness, he passed away on September 9, 2003, at the age of 67. Ivan Dixon brought intelligence and calm to the role of Sergeant James Kinch Kinchloe in Hogan's Heroes, starting in 1965 when he was 34 years old. As the group's communications expert, Kinchloe's technical prowess and composed demeanor made him indispensable to the team's success. Dixon's career was marked by achievements such as his acclaimed performance in A Raisin in the Sun and directing notable TV series like The Waltons and Magnum, P.I. However, he faced barriers as an African-American actor during a time of racial inequality, which limited his opportunities. Married to Burley Ray Dixon, their relationship endured decades of strain due to his demanding career. The couple had 4 children, but Dixon's focus on work created emotional distance in his family. He experienced personal tragedy with the loss of a son and endured financial challenges in his later years. Dixon passed away on March 16, 2008, at the age of 76 from kidney failure. Sigrid Valdis became a fan favorite as Hilda, Colonel Klink's charming and efficient secretary, when she joined Hogan's Heroes in 1965 at 30 years old. Hilda's beauty and playful loyalty to Klink added a layer of complexity to the show's humor. Off-screen, Valdis's life took a tragic turn when she married her co-star Bob Crane in 1970. Their marriage produced one son, Robert Scott Crane, but was cut short when Crane was brutally murdered in 1978, a crime that remains unsolved. Devastated, Valdis withdrew from acting and focused on raising her son, though financial struggles and grief consumed her later years. Her battle with lung cancer eventually led to her death on October 14, 2007, at 72. Despite her vibrant screen presence, Valdis's life was filled with heartbreak, leaving behind a bittersweet legacy of talent and tragedy. Askin portrayed the domineering General Albert Burkhalter in Hogan's Heroes, taking on the role in 1965 at the age of 58. His character, a no-nonsense authority figure, was frequently exasperated by Klink's incompetence. Born in Austria, Askin's life was shaped by the horrors of the Holocaust, which claimed his parents and forced him to flee to the United States. Despite his acting success in exile, including roles on Broadway and in film, he never fully escaped the shadow of his traumatic past. Askin married twice, but both unions ended in divorce, and he had no children, leaving him deeply lonely in his later years. Struggling with survivor's guilt and the loss of his homeland, he battled depression for much of his life. Askin passed away on June 3, 2005, at 97, after a life defined by both remarkable resilience and enduring sorrow. Cynthia Lynn portrayed Helga, Colonel Klink's loyal and occasionally helpful secretary, in Hogan's Heroes starting in 1965 at the age of 28. Lynn's character was more than just a pretty face, she occasionally aided Hogan's schemes, adding depth to the role. However, her life outside the show was filled with personal struggles. Lynn was married twice, first to actor Paul Ferguson and then to director Jack D. Curtis, but both marriages ended in divorce. She also faced a career that plateaued after Hogan's Heroes, struggling to find work and feeling overshadowed by the success of the show. As the years went by, Lynn battled personal demons, and her health began to deteriorate. On March 10, 2014, she passed away at the age of 76 from multiple organ failure. Lynn's death was a sad conclusion to a life that, despite early promise, was marked by personal disappointment and unfulfilled dreams. Bernard Fox played Colonel Crittenden, the overconfident British officer, in Hogan's Heroes starting in 1965 at the age of 38. Crittenden's constant blundering and misguided heroism created a source of comic relief, yet his earnestness gave the character depth and charm. Despite the fame from his role, Fox's personal life was filled with emotional struggles. His marriage faced difficulties, and his relationship with his children was strained, leaving him feeling isolated. As he aged, Fox's health began to decline, and he was burdened with heart problems. His later years were marked by a sense of regret, as he often reflected on what he felt was an unfulfilled career and life. Fox passed away on December 14, 2016, at the age of 89, from heart failure. His death, though marked by his legacy of comedic performances, was a somber end to a life defined by both professional success and personal hardships. John Cedar played Corporal Langenscheidt in Hogan's Heroes starting in 1965 at the age of 34. Langenscheidt was a nervous, accident-prone soldier, loyal to Colonel Klink but often caught in unfortunate situations that provided comic relief. Cedar's portrayal captured the vulnerability of a man in a constant state of anxiety and misfortune. In real life, Cedar struggled with his personal life, facing a painful divorce and a difficult relationship with his son. His career never advanced beyond the show, and he often spoke of the emotional toll of not being able to escape the shadow of his Hogan's Heroes role. In his later years, Cedar was diagnosed with leukemia, which led to his decline. He passed away on April 14, 2011, at the age of 80, his life marked by both professional stagnation and personal tragedy, with his death largely unremarked by the public. Walter Janovitz played Oscar Schnitzer, the resourceful black market dealer in Hogan's Heroes, starting in 1965 at the age of 52. Schnitzer's ability to provide the POWs with goods through illegal means made him a valuable, if morally ambiguous, ally. While Janovitz portrayed the character with charm and wit, his post-show career was far less fulfilling. He struggled to find substantial roles after Hogan's Heroes, and his personal life suffered as well. His marriage ended in divorce, and he grew distant from his children. Loneliness and health issues plagued Janovitz in his later years, and the legacy of his role as Schnitzer was overshadowed by these struggles. He passed away on May 27, 1997, at the age of 84, quietly ending a life marked by personal and professional disappointments, and leaving behind little fanfare for a role that had once captured the public's attention. John Stephenson portrayed Captain Mueller in Hogan's Heroes, starting in 1965 when he was 42. Mueller was a strict, by-the-book officer, often butting heads with Hogan and his men. This role showcased Stephenson's ability to play authoritative figures, but in reality, his life wasn't as commanding. He faced the struggles of being typecast and often found himself relegated to supporting roles, which kept him from achieving leading man status. His marriage to actress Caroline W. Stephenson ended in divorce, and though they had 2 children, his family life became strained as his career demands left little time for personal connections. Later in life, Stephenson's health deteriorated as he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, leaving him isolated in his final years. He passed away on May 15, 2015, at the age of 91, his life defined by professional persistence but overshadowed by emotional distance and the cruel ravages of memory loss. Dick Wilson portrayed Captain Gruber, the strict, rule-abiding officer, in Hogan's Heroes, beginning his role in 1966 at the age of 50. Gruber's unyielding adherence to military protocol and frequent inspections often brought him into conflict with Hogan and the prisoners, creating comic tension. Off-screen, Wilson's life mirrored Gruber's rigidity, but it came at a personal cost. Despite a steady acting career, he struggled with typecasting, which hindered his ability to land diverse roles. Wilson was married twice, but both marriages ended in divorce, and he faced significant emotional loneliness, particularly after the unexpected death of his second wife. In his later years, Wilson's health declined, and he lived in solitude, battling the weight of his professional and personal losses. He passed away on November 19, 2007, at the age of 91, his life marked by a combination of professional discipline and the heartbreaking isolation that accompanied his personal struggles. Stewart Moss played Olson, the inventive and resourceful technician, in Hogan's Heroes, starting his role in 1965 at the age of 28. Olson was a sharp, creative character, essential to Hogan's plan with his technical expertise and quick thinking. Moss's career, however, didn't match the brilliance of his character's intellect. After Hogan's Heroes, he struggled to find major roles and became increasingly typecast in minor television and film parts, preventing him from reaching the heights he aspired to. Moss's personal life was no less turbulent. He married twice, but both marriages ended in divorce. He had 1 son, but their relationship became strained, particularly as Moss battled with addiction and career-related depression. His health suffered in later years, and he passed away on September 13, 2017, at the age of 79. His life was marked by a promising start but a series of struggles that left him with unrealized potential and a sense of personal loss. Nita Talbot portrayed the clever and seductive Maria, a white Russian spy, beginning in 1966 at the age of 36. Maria was a complex character who often used her charm and intelligence to outwit the Germans, providing a touch of intrigue and sophistication to Hogan's Heroes. However, Talbot's personal life was marked by struggles and heartbreak. She was married twice, first to actor Richard S. DiCrenzo, and then to director Hal Cooper, but both marriages ended in divorce. Talbot never had children, and her personal life was often filled with emotional isolation. As her acting career slowed down, she faced the harsh realities of fading fame, finding it difficult to regain the same level of success after the show ended. In the years that followed, she withdrew from the Hollywood spotlight, dealing with the frustration of missed opportunities and personal loneliness. As of 2025, Talbot is still alive at the age of 94, living a quiet and secluded life far from the fame she once enjoyed. Arlene Martel played Tiger, a brave and resourceful member of the French Resistance, beginning in 1965 at age 29. Tiger's character was a symbol of courage, intelligence, and determination, helping Hogan and his men in many critical situations. Martel's performance was memorable, but her career post-Hogan's Heroes failed to reach the heights many had hoped for. Though she appeared in various TV shows and films, she was often typecast, and her roles were limited. Martel's personal life was equally tumultuous. She married several times, most notably to actor Joseph Kelly, but none of her relationships lasted, and she had no children. The actress faced personal struggles with loneliness and a sense of unfulfillment. After the show's end, her career never regained the same spark, and she found herself battling the pain of fading into obscurity. Martel passed away on August 12, 2014, at the age of 78, from heart disease complications. Mel Pitlick played Captain Herber in Hogan's Heroes starting in 1965 at the age of 33. Herber was a nervous, accident-prone officer who often caused chaos with his blunders, providing plenty of comedic moments. His portrayal of the character was beloved for its charm and vulnerability, but Pitlick's personal life was far from as lighthearted. Though he enjoyed some success in his acting career, Pitlick never reached the level of fame he may have hoped for. He married twice, both of which ended in divorce, and had no children, leaving him with a sense of unfulfilled personal connections. The actor's later years were marred by a diagnosis of lung cancer, which he battled privately. Despite his optimistic demeanor, Pitlick succumbed to the illness, passing away on February 18, 1999, at the age of 66. His passing was a quiet and somber end to a career full of humor but overshadowed by a sense of isolation in his personal life. John Hoyt portrayed General Brunner, the stern and authoritative officer, starting in 1967 at age 62. Known for his commanding presence, Hoyt's portrayal of General Brunner was a stark contrast to the comedic nature of Hogan's Heroes, adding a layer of authority to the show's dynamic. Off-screen, Hoyt's life was filled with personal and professional challenges. He was married twice, first to actress Zena Bethune, then to actress Peggy Weber, but both marriages ended in divorce. Despite a long career in Hollywood with numerous notable roles, Hoyt struggled with feelings of loneliness and disappointment, particularly as he grew older. He never had children, and his personal life was often overshadowed by his career's demands. In his later years, Hoyt faced serious health problems, battling lung cancer, which took his life on September 15, 1991, at age 85. John Crawford portrayed the first Gestapo man in Hogan's Heroes starting in 1965 at the age of 45. Crawford's portrayal of the cold, menacing officer provided an ever-present antagonist for Hogan and his crew. His character was ruthlessly efficient, but off-screen, Crawford's life was marked by emotional struggles. His career as a character actor kept him in the villainous roles, never giving him the chance to break free from typecasting. Crawford was married once, but the relationship ended in divorce, and he had a strained connection with his children. His later years were a time of reflection and regret, and he often spoke of the loneliness that filled his personal life. After suffering a stroke, Crawford's health deteriorated quickly, and he passed away on September 21, 2010, at the age of 90. His death was the quiet conclusion to a long life, one marked by professional success in villainous roles, but personal isolation and loneliness that went largely unrecognized. Forrest Compton played Captain in Hogan's Heroes starting in 1965 at the age of 40. His character, a strict, by-the-book officer, was a foil to Hogan's more rebellious crew, providing a disciplined presence on the show. While Compton had a steady career, it was his personal life that was filled with turmoil. He was married and had children, but the demands of his acting career strained his marriage, and he often felt disconnected from his family. Despite his professional success, Compton struggled with his personal relationships and found it difficult to maintain a work-life balance. As he grew older, his health began to decline, and he faced an unimaginable battle with COVID-19. Despite his age and pre-existing conditions, the virus took a toll on him, and he passed away on April 4, 2020, at the age of 94. His death was a tragic end to a long life, a reminder that even those who portray authority and strength on screen can quietly suffer from personal and health-related struggles. Frank Marth played Captain Melheiser, the strict and rule-abiding officer, in Hogan's Heroes, starting his role in 1965 at the age of 43. Milheiser's strict adherence to regulations often put him in conflict with the show's more rebellious characters, a trait that Marth himself exhibited off-screen. Though he worked steadily in the industry, Marth never achieved significant fame, as his roles were often confined to supporting parts. His personal life was filled with hardships, including 2 marriages that ended in divorce. The emotional toll of his failed relationships and the isolation that came with them marked his later years. As Marth grew older, he faced the devastating effects of Alzheimer's disease and congestive heart failure, which took away his independence and memories. He passed away on January 12, 2014, at the age of 91, a man whose career had been overshadowed by personal loss and the heartbreaking decline that came with old age. Chet Stratton portrayed the sly and cunning Blue Fox in Hogan's Heroes, beginning the role in 1968 at the age of 58. Blue Fox was a character known for his devious schemes, always manipulating situations to his advantage, which matched Stratton's ability to bring complexity to villainous roles. Despite this, his career was limited to similar types of characters, never breaking out into leading roles or gaining major recognition. In his personal life, Stratton's 2 marriages ended in divorce, and although he had a son, their relationship was distant, strained by his career demands. In his later years, the weight of these personal and professional disappointments contributed to his declining health. At just 59 years old, Chet Stratton passed away on July 7, 1970, from a heart attack, leaving behind a life marked by unfulfilled potential and emotional struggles, his death coming far too soon for a man who had so much more to give. Victoria Carroll played the charming and efficient nurse in Hogan's Heroes, taking on the role in 1968 at the age of 27. The nurse was known for her calm demeanor and poise under pressure, an image that Carroll effortlessly embodied. Though she initially seemed to have a promising career, Carroll struggled to find consistent acting work after Hogan's Heroes, and her potential as an actress was never fully realized. Her personal life was marked by an unhappy marriage, which ended in divorce, leaving her alone without children to care for. Carroll battled loneliness and the disappointment of a career that never blossomed, as many of her roles post-Hogan were small and forgettable. At 83, she remains out of the limelight, having lived a life of relative obscurity, her career fading into the past, while her personal life remained burdened with the weight of unmet dreams and quiet struggles. Sandy Kenyon portrayed the stern and authoritarian Captain Borman beginning in 1966, at the age of 44. Captain Borman was a figure of strict discipline, known for his no-nonsense approach to military regulation and his commanding presence in every episode. While Kenyon's portrayal of Borman garnered recognition, his personal life was far less successful. He had a troubled marriage, which ended in divorce, leaving him emotionally strained and isolated. Though he found some success in his career, Kenyon's later years were marked by the fading of his career and his struggles with the feeling of being forgotten by the industry. His private life was marked by the sadness of missed opportunities and broken relationships. Kenyon passed away on February 20, 2010, at the age of 87. The cause of death was not widely publicized, but his passing was a quiet end to a life spent largely in the shadows, both on and off the screen. Ben Wright portrayed Major Feldkamp, a cunning and strategic officer, starting in 1967 at the age of 52. Feldkamp was known for his tactical mind, always scheming and trying to outwit Hogan and his men. Wright's career spanned several decades, with his work in both television and film earning him recognition as a versatile actor. However, his personal life was not as stable as his career. Wright was married 3 times, but his marriages were often tumultuous, and he never found true happiness in love. His personal life was marked by loneliness and the weight of unfulfilled dreams. As he aged, Wright's career also began to decline, with fewer opportunities coming his way. In his later years, he struggled with health issues, culminating in complications following surgery. Wright passed away on July 2, 1989, at the age of 74. Karl Bruck portrayed the sinister and calculating Dr. Kroll in Hogan's Heroes beginning in 1967 at the age of 61. Dr. Kroll was a cold, methodical character, devising complex plans to sabotage Hogan and his crew. Bruck's performance was a chilling addition to the show, bringing a sense of danger that contrasted with the more comedic elements. Despite his success in the role, Bruck's personal life was far less secure. He married late in life, and though he had children, the pressure of his acting career created emotional distance within his family. His health deteriorated in his later years, and by the time he passed away on August 21, 1987, at the age of 81, Bruck had already experienced significant struggles with isolation and regret. His death was overshadowed by the loss of a life spent more in shadows than in the spotlight, leaving behind only the cold, calculating character of Dr. Kroll as a testament to his career. Henry Corden played Antonovich, a cold and ruthless character, starting in 1965 at the age of 45. Antonovich's chilling demeanor and willingness to do whatever it took to get ahead made him a memorable figure in Hogan's Heroes, but the actor behind him faced personal battles that were far darker. Corden's life was filled with challenges, from a rocky marriage to his struggles with the pressure of maintaining a career in an industry that often ignored aging actors. Despite being a well-respected voice actor and appearing in numerous roles, Corden's career saw its ups and downs, and he struggled with health problems in his later years. His personal life was filled with heartache, and he often felt isolated, with relationships strained and distant. Corden's final years were marked by the heavy toll of emphysema, which ultimately led to his death on May 19, 2005, at the age of 85, a tragic reminder of a man who suffered greatly in his personal life, and whose struggles were hidden behind the mask of his tough characters. Willard Sage played the strict and authoritative Captain Berger in Hogan's Heroes starting in 1965 at the age of 43. Captain Berger was the embodiment of military rigidity, enforcing strict discipline and often at odds with Hogan and his crew. Sage's portrayal of the character made him a memorable, though antagonistic, presence on the show. Off-screen, Sage's personal life mirrored the harsh discipline of his character. His marriage, though initially strong, was eventually strained by the demands of his career, and he struggled to maintain personal happiness amidst his professional commitments. Tragically, Sage passed away at the age of 51 on March 17, 1974, from a sudden heart attack. His death was an unexpected and sorrowful end to a promising career, and he left behind a family dealing with the shock and grief of a life cut short far too soon. Norbert Schiller took on the role of Baker in Hogan's Heroes starting in 1965 at the age of 66. Baker was a shrewd, resourceful character, always finding ways to procure valuable items for the POWs through his clever schemes. Schiller's portrayal of the character was marked by his wit and cunning, but his personal life was far from as smooth. Although he was successful in his role, Schiller faced numerous personal challenges. He married and had children, but his family life was often overshadowed by his work and the pressures that came with being an actor later in life. His health began to decline in his later years, and despite his best efforts, Schiller passed away on January 8, 1988, at the age of 88. His death marked the end of a long life, but also one full of personal struggles and the haunting feeling of unfulfilled dreams, both in his personal life and his career. Who is your favorite character from Hogan's Heroes? How do you feel knowing that some of the actors have passed away? Don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this content, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss future videos. Thank you so much.